He came unto his own, and his own received him not. Why did the Israelites reject Jesus even though he was the Messiah with evidence to justify him? Because of unbelief. For unto us was the gospel preached as well as unto them, but the word preached did not profit them, not being mixed with faith in them that heard it. When the Israelites saw Jesus preaching and demonstrating the power of God's kingdom, they still refused to believe. They were so caught up in the old covenant that the new, better covenant seemed like blasphemy and heresy, even though it came down from the same God of their forefathers Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They had no choice but to fall into disbelief because their minds were blinded. But if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost, in whom the God of this world hath blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Christ, who is the image of God, should shine unto them. Israel is God's original chosen people. However, they were so focused on the traditions of man that Satan kept them in darkness and blindness to the truth. It would take God to open their eyes and bring them into the light of his way. Fortunately, some Israelites were saved and brought into the way of Christ. Eventually, before the end of this age, there will be salvation for the Jews. Romans 11:5 says, "Even so then at this present time also there is a remnant according to the election of grace." God's plan of salvation has always been for the Jews, and even though they rejected him when he came the first time, God will save Israel. Israel's rejection of Jesus as Messiah served two greater purposes in the plans of God. Firstly, Israel's rejection of Jesus caused God's salvation by grace through faith in Jesus to become available to the entire world. Since they rebelled against the gospel of Christ, God's salvation turned to the Gentiles, or those who are not of the biological lineage of Abraham. Therefore, this leads to the second purpose of Israel's fall, because of rebellion. God wanted to provoke the Israelites to jealousy. Israel, because they have rejected God's plan of salvation through Jesus, does not have access to the new covenant in Christ. Therefore, for the Israelites to see non-Jews having a relationship with their God and enjoying his benefits would cause them to become jealous. God would then use this jealousy to save some of the Israelites, which again, is God's plan for his original chosen people. Therefore, do not cast Israel away, nor exclude them from God's salvation, thinking they've been replaced by the New Testament church, because God has not forgotten about those who are his own. Since God has not forgotten about his chosen people Israel, how do you think he feels about those who have accepted Jesus Christ as Lord by faith?